let me adjust your crown because you have done some of the most incredible work. I mean, you've worked with some of every major network. Your name, your reputation in these streets, as they say, is stellar. It's gold. People respect you. And they love you. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show is because your life has an interesting, talk about story arc, right? Your life has an interesting story arc. You know, most people think the story does this, you know, and then it does, but your life has this, you know. You had success, but sometimes success is really failure in disguise.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. So my rise was great. And then what happened was my why shifted. So remember, I got into the business to affect change, and it was about other people, right? But then when you start to get success, you start to get money, a little notoriety, a few, awards. You get invited to certain places. And
I receive it. Oh, you
you
weren't
know,
praying? You weren't praying? Oh, my bad. I thought you. I
you
was receiving it.
start to get these things, and now all of a sudden your why pivots. You don't even realize it. And so my why pivoted, and it was more like, how do I keep this up? How do I keep this up? Like, I got to get the next hit. I got to get the next. So it became about me. It wasn't about what God was doing in me or trying to help. It was about me. But I didn't say that out loud. But my actions were, I'm on this treadmill, I'm sweating. It was more of a job to keep it up. Right?
Your intentions changed.
Absolutely. My intentions, I pivoted from my original of using my gifts to glorify God and bless others. It was more about, I need to keep this up. And so when you lose your why, or when your why ends up being more about yourself, well, you're setting yourself up already. And so when the 2008 crash came, it didn't hit entertainment until about 2009, 2010. By this time, I'm doing great. I'm at the height of my career. I'm doing really well. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's affecting everybody. It's not gonna affect me because I'm doing it. Right. And it affected me. Yeah. I got called into the president's room and conference room with HR, and I go in, I'm like, oh no, somebody's getting let go. Real talk. This is me. So who is it? It was me.
Newsflash.
Newsflash, it was me. And so I was like, well, you know what? God is good because I got 3 other networks wanting me, and it's good. And so I'm steady spending. We're living in a huge house. Things are popping off. So, our overhead is crazy, but we're making it. So it doesn't matter. My husband's doing really well. And so we're good. And so then 1 month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by. All of those jobs start going away. Presidents getting laid off. So hiring freeze. People losing jobs. They weren't going to hire anybody, even though before the hit, they were all wanting me. Now they didn't have jobs. So money's going out. And now I'm just stuck. And I'm like, Lord, now wait a minute. You know who this is now. I'm not her, him. I don't lie, I don't cheat. I help people. I'm about the little person. I'm the one that speak up for you in the rooms. What are you doing? And I'm just so grateful that he's a good father, because in those times, as I was watching my savings going, and looking at the fact that I may have to downsize, take my kids out of private school, downsize my cars, my husband, his business took a big hit. So we were just looking at each other like, where do we go? Like, where do we go wrong?
Endyia, let me ask you a question, because I want to just stop here just for a second, because I think, again, these low moments when life is at high tide, but the water feels lower than that, these are very instructive. And here's what I want to ask you. I only got 5 minutes left, unfortunately. Okay. There's some things we can only learn in the valley, right? Some lessons you can only learn with tears running down your face. What did the valley teach you?
Three questions that you have to ask yourself every day, no matter what you do, is this: to keep your why and intention in place. Number 1, who are you? What drives you? And if who are you and what drives you is dependent upon your title and your money, you lost. You're failing. If that answer is, what's driving me is to please God with all that I have and to serve others, you're winning. Number 2, who are you? what defines you. If what defines you is your money, your title, and what people say and validation from other people, you've lost. But if what defines you is using your gifts to glorify God and bless others, your definition of who you are as a child of God to be used, submitted to him, and all that you do, you're winning. And if you can locate yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically,
yeah,
and you're figuring out, wow, I'm in a low place, I'm in the dark, I'm in the valley, I can't see, then you have to then renew your mind to say, why? Why can't I see? I can be in a low place, but I got to look up. Because no matter how I got there or what happened, there's always hope. And so every time I'm in those places, locate myself, well, why am I depressed? Or why am I on the verge of depression? It's because, and here's depression, and here's the truth of it all. Depression comes when you are comparing yourself to other people, or you want something that you can't have, or you're trying to control a situation that you can't control. That's
or can I add something? Or comparing yourself to what you used to be.
That's absolutely what you used to have, who you are. And that goes back to your definition of who you are. Because if who you are is based on tangible things that can be taken away in a blink of an eye, you're in trouble.
That's right.
You're in trouble.
That's you doing your good preaching tonight. Let me tell you that.
And so God, in his infinite wisdom and power, looking at his daughter saying, daughter, I'm putting you in a spiritual timeout so you can see yourself. Because you headed down a path you think that you're not, but you are. And so when I got to myself after 9 months of crying in the corner and pointing fingers and being mad like that was going to move him, and I finally submitted myself to say, okay, God, show me, that thing was ugly, Dr. Sean. I saw the egotism. I saw the lack of humility. I saw where she was going, and I hated it. I didn't like it. So I sat up in my big sprawling kitchen that I was packing up. And I said, Lord, I don't care if you put me in an apartment, 1-bedroom apartment with my family. I don't care if you put me in a car that can barely get where I needed to go. I will never be in this place again. Never. Nothing is worth it. To not have your presence, to not have your peace, to not have your joy, nothing. I said, as long as I can get where I need to get, if people got to judge me based on what I got and I got to front just so you can do work with me, then you ain't in my corner. You ain't in my circle. I don't need you.
Yeah. No, that's rich.
There is freedom and power in that. And I want to encourage everybody today, don't do it. Instagram, social media is everybody's highlight reel. Everybody's lying. So get off of it if you start feeling some way about yourself, because just know everybody's lying.
Right.
You need to stay focused on who God has created you to be. Use your gifts to glorify him. And it's not about your name being in lights and all that foolishness. It's a lot of people whose name in lights who's strung out on drugs and wish they could have your life. Trust me, I know them.
India, listen, I got to stop you because I want to. No, it's fine. No, I love it. I just want to get a little more in.
Yes.
But I want to say this before I do. So back in Chicago, I was pastoring a church, and it wasn't going well, not at all. But I would get up and I would do it as hard as I could, and my son came to me, and my son was like, "Pops, you know there's only like 15 people here, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, why are you doing all that?" I said, "Let me tell you something, little boy. I may never speak to millions, but I might be speaking to the one who will."
That's it.
And I got to get her ready.
That's it.
I got to get her ready. Anyway,
that's awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah.